Hey guys, it's me Falcool, welcome back to another video. In today's video, as you can see, we have DoomKnight, the opposite of Paladin. I thought it was fitting to do this one. Once again, it's not classic DoomKnight, so it's going to be a bit better. Still has its problems, but either way, let's continue. Okay, so similar to Paladin, you'll want to come to /join Shadowfall. Once again, a very nostalgic map. Come over to Dusk over here, and if you click DoomKnight, you'll be able to see two versions. You have the AC version here, and you also have the rank version basically. So rank 5 evil reputation and then rank 10 warrior and healer once again. You can also get a hood and a cloak. Personally, I think these look kind of terrible. But you know, for back in the day, I thought they were really cool. Now, not so much. You can also go into the AC shop and you can find some really cool stuff here. Not so much the helmets, but more so the armors with different colors. Like I think there's Onyx DoomKnight armor. I was about to say overnight. Onyx DoomKnight armor looks pretty neat. Besides that, you can also click Classic DoomKnight here and get these two versions as well. Okay, in regards to enhancements, I'd recommend Full Luck. If you have ore enhancements, I'd say probably Spiral Carve or Mana Vamp. If you have the Forge enhancements, probably something like Lacerate or Dauntless. Dauntless more so, I just don't have it unlocked, so I'll be using Lacerate in this video. I'm also using Anima on my helm. It lowers my health a bit, but I think it basically just helps out with more DPS, to be honest. But yeah, besides that, let's continue. Okay, so I'm going to go over the skills. Basically, this is going to be Soul Steal. This is your second skill on your bar. Soul Steal is going to deal 151% weapon damage, and it's going to apply two things. The two things are Dark Wound and Crack Soul. Dark Wound is going to apply DOT for 8 seconds. Crack Soul is going to decrease the target's defense, basically meaning they'll take extra damage by 10% for 8 seconds. These both stack up to 5 times. Every time you use this move, also you're going to get a heal. The heal's about 400, which isn't bad. This is basically your only heal throughout the whole class. Your third skill on your bar is going to be Soul Crush. This is basically going to apply one of two things at a 50% chance, I'm pretty sure. It's either going to apply Fear to the enemy for 6 seconds, reducing the dodge chance by 50%, or it's going to apply Despaired. This is going to reduce their chance to crit by 50% for 6 seconds. Your fourth skill on the bar is going to be Void Strike. This is basically just going to do more damage the lower your health is. Crit wise, I do about upwards of 30k if you're at the very low end of your health. Generally, you're going to be doing about 15 to 20k depending on when you use it though. Finally, your fifth skill is going to be Blood Offering. What this is going to do is basically, if Dark Wound is applied on the target, you'll take 20% of your maximum HP, and it's going to apply Blood Right to you. Blood Right is going to increase the damage you take by 50%, but also your next auto attack is going to do more damage. It's also going to increase your haste and crit chance by 20%. If Dark Wound isn't on the target, they're just going to be stunned for 3 seconds. I'll chuck up the passives as well so you can see them. Obviously, the more important one's going to be Doom Strike. If you do manage to hit this is probably a very, very low chance. I haven't really seen it. But you'll just do a big crit basically, or a big hit more so. Okay, so I'm going to go over the combo. What I'd recommend is basically doing 2, 3, 5, 4 and just maxing out your 2 for stacks as soon as possible to get the buffs for health and obviously the decrease on defense for the enemy. Between your 4th and 5th skill, you have to be careful because you don't want to, lose too much health and you don't want to deal too little damage with your 4th skill. So the further you get into the fight, the less you will be using your 5th skill realistically. It's very situational in that case, and it's kind of a struggle to use the class in some regards. It's similar to old Blood Titan, I'd say, where even though you're getting the good buffs, the struggle is basically keeping yourself alive, more so than dealing damage. With higher enemy bosses, it does really struggle a bit, and maybe that's just because I don't have the other Forge enhancements unlocked for this full class, but I don't think that'd help too much more than it is already. I'd probably be leaning more to the B- scale of things, to be honest. Just because it struggles in those ranges where it's supposed to be strong. If you plan on using pods, you'll probably be okay for the most part. The only struggle, like I said, is basically the mana and more so the health when you're fighting the higher damage enemy bosses. In regards to farming, I wouldn't really recommend this class at all, to be honest. I'd probably give it a C-, probably a D tier. It's just a class which basically has moves where you can hit in short range. And even then, you're not going to deal too much damage, just because your health's not really going too low. The skill cooldowns are a bit too long to be farming as well, and also your mana issues add on top of that, so overall it's not great. Okay, so my overall thoughts for the class is that it hasn't aged well, really. Like, it's a mid-game class, which is fine, and you have to understand that not everything can be a late-game soloing farming class. It's a shame just because it's a member only, so you'd think it would be a bit better than what it is, to be honest. However, it did get a revamp from Classic to regular Doom Knight. I'd probably give it a C tier max overall. Like I said, a B minus for soloing just because of the mana and health issues. And also probably going to have to be a C minus for the farming, or a D tier because it's just terrible. PvP wise, it could work if you manage to hit your stun and like pre-prep for the fight, and then hit them with your 4th skill and get, you know, a one-hit KO if possible. Obviously I don't test it, so I'm not really going to do that. I think it's a very nostalgic class and I remember trying to get it as a kid. Sadly it's only, you know, legend only, so I was never able to get it and test it as I could have done back in the day. I imagine it was probably a bit better as well. However, I think that's going to be it for me. Like I said, probably a C tier at best. If you want to get the class, go ahead, it's not hard to farm. If you want to collect it and just use it and have it in like the slot saying your name and then DoomKnight, that's pretty fun to do, I guess. But I wouldn't recommend using it if you're in the late game stage of a game. I think that's going to be it, like I said, so I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, good night, good evening, whatever time it may be for you, and bye.